Hello! I haven't seen you in a while. I was off last weekend and now I'm back after maybe like 5 days of not sewing. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to get back into it. I'm a little bit lost for direction right now, I'm not gonna lie. Let me tell you why. What we're gonna do today is basically another design vlog. If you've been around here last time, you know that we already did one of those about 2 weeks ago, where I presented to you my newest sewing pattern that I'm currently working on. And that one is in the test phase at the moment, meaning it's with 14 pattern testers. They have until next Monday to complete their versions of the dress and give me feedback via a form, which I'm then going to use to perfect the pattern before I can move on to launching it. Now, like I said, they still have a full week to go. I can't really do anything regarding that pattern at the moment. That means that I have time to start with a new project. I have a lot of ideas in my mind right now. I have a lot of designs floating about my brain that I kind of want to realize, but I don't know which one to go for first. That kind of also makes me think that I want to work on a couple of patterns in parallel at the same time, which also makes me think that maybe it is time for another sewing pattern extravaganza. If you've been around here last winter, you might know what I'm talking about. I think I called it Holiday Season Sewing Pattern Extravaganza in November, where I released a new sewing pattern every Sunday in the run-up to Christmas. That was quite successful. I really quite enjoyed it. It was definitely, pushed my boundaries. It was a little bit stressful, but it was also super productive, and I love being productive. We all know that, fingers crossed, we're gonna head into spring really soon. Meteorologically, that's a really hard word to say, it is already spring, even if the weather might not make you think it is, but the warmer season is just ahead of us, which is also the time of year that most people who like to sew get really active. Why is that? I think actually it's because when you are a sewist, you kind of love making, and you're female, given that, you kind of love making dresses and things for the warmer season. And I think that's just an inherent fact of being a sewist, because we don't knit, we don't use wool, unless we're making a coat, which is not, I think, the rule. We probably make a dress or shorts or trousers or a top or a blouse, something that you would probably wear when it's a little bit warmer outside. So I think that beginning from April, the high season of DIY couture starts. So I think I'm gonna do a summer season sewing pattern extravaganza around April and May. That's exciting because that means we're gonna have a barrage of sewing patterns coming our way. At the same time, I need to figure out what those sewing patterns are. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna sketch out a couple of ideas. We can talk about what options those ideas could come in. We could have a little ranking. Maybe we do a little poll after this video to see which ones of those are your favorites. And then we can decide which one we're working on first. So let's go. So 3 hours later, there are a number of designs that are floating about my brain, as I've mentioned, and I think we should address the elephant in the room. If you've been following me for a while, you might know about this. If you're new here, I'm glad to fill you in. Last fall, I started a development for a new pattern, which was a wrap dress with an attached lapel label. And it was a bit of a journey. I didn't really end up with anything that I really loved. So I kind of dropped the project. However, I realized that the idea of a wrap dress was very popular with you guys. So I do feel like I should pick it back up again. So in terms of design of said wrap dress, it is relatively straightforward. So what I kind of want to do is create this dress with a wrap closure in front that also has said attached label, which is just sort of like this. So in many ways, it looks a little bit like a bathing robe. The last time the lapel went down like this and had this little fold over on the side. Now I'm sort of thinking, maybe if I was to give it this very distinct shape where it just flows back into the seam again, maybe that would help the construction. This is sort of what that would look like. And then you would have the same thing on the other side, sort of like this. Now, last time, one of the construction issues was that the front was gaping, so I would have to pay some extra attention to that in the construction process, and the neckline was not low enough. People wanted more cleavage, which for me is particularly hard to emphasize because I don't really have any cleavage. However, you know, I think if I work a little harder on it, I might be able to achieve it. Simple shoulders, a simple sleeve with a slight poof on top. For the skirt, I also want to keep it simple, something with a nice flow, a nice drape, a lot like the dress that I already made back then, just with a working pattern. And in terms of closure, I would probably want to do buttons on the side because they're cute. So this is one design that I think I want to do, and it's worth doing. It's something that I don't yet have on my Etsy shop. It's a completely different approach to a dress. So I do think having a rep dress in my repertoire would definitely be not a bad thing. I love boat necks, even though my personal proportions aren't necessarily the best ones for that type of neckline. However, I'm not gonna be bothered by that. I love them and I'm gonna wear them anyways. I also love my kind of like, I wanna say signature move of creating an enhanced bust by adding a S-shaped underbust seam to any garment. So you've seen that before in my Ophelia dress, in my Odette dress, and also in my Oakley blouse. And you've seen the boat neck in the Jackie dress. So both the Ophelia and the Jackie dress are bestsellers on my shop. So I'm kind of thinking, what if I combine those two together? What would that look like? So I'm sort of thinking creating a even more dramatic boat neckline for the summer season by just ditching the shoulders and just creating this nicely square silhouette from the front by just using spaghetti straps on top. That allows me to drop the neckline and make it wider, and that's gonna give this effect of a boat neckline, but it's more summer suitable because we don't have to be up here to meet our shoulders. And for people with narrow shoulders, that's also easier, and it's gonna make the boat neckline a little bit more dramatic than if we were to do it up here because we don't have a lot of space around here, if that makes any sense. This is something that I realized while making the Jackie dress. Now we have this neckline, and then we have this double S-shaped underbust seam like this. This one has ruffled darts. Already love that, that looks great. Now what does the rest of the dress look like? I'm also obsessed with drop waists at the moment. I feel like that's a big thing this year, and historically I always default for high waist designs in any of my dresses, and that is because I just have very wide hips and a very small waist, and it is a little bit more flattering on me to have a high waist. I do think though that I could make a drop waist work if the rest of the dress kind of like caters to my proportions. So I'm sort of thinking to have the waist stop about, it's not like low waist, it's like mid waist, somewhere around here, just to give it a more modern feel. And then there's options for the skirt. The main one for me is to make a midi length skirt because that would feature and cater to my personal proportions. So it would look something like this, relatively straight, but with quite a dramatic gathering around here. So it would be a relatively straight skirt, but very wide and then gathered together to give it this like silhouette that I'm thinking. Now this in a black linen for summer, don't get me started. I think this could look amazing. I think that this dress also potentially could come with options. A very simple mini option without a drop waist comes to mind, but I love this silhouette. I think this could look really nice. So that is design number 2. Now the next kind of classic staple that I would love to have on my Etsy shop is a bias cut cowl neck dress. This is something that has been like on and off trending for the last, like, I want to say 5 years now, like a good while. It's been around for a good while, and obviously it's a classic design that kind of like originated sometime back in the, I want to say like late 60s, early 70s probably. And there's a good reason why it's still around. It's because it's so flattering. And I myself have made about 3 or 4 cowl neck bias cut dresses in the past, and I think that this could be a really easy win for me because it's still super popular and it would be a good addition to my shop. And I just also want to have that pattern in my digital repertoire now because I've made like multiple in the past and they're like floating about and I don't really know where they are. And probably I would also bet that with the experience I have now, I could come up with an even better proportioned pattern. For that, I'm thinking that is something that I could make relatively quickly, and I think again would be a great staple to have in my repertoire. It's also something I personally like to wear, and I think I feel like I want to have like a burnt orange or like a chocolatey brown version of this in my wardrobe. That would be dope. If I were to include this in this summer season pattern extravaganza in May, that would be perfect timing for all of the weddings that people have to go to in the warmer season. So definitely not bad timing there either. And for that one, there probably would be options that we could do, some exciting ones. Maybe also having like a double cowl neckline, one in front and one in the back, could be very cute. Okay, so that is design number 3. I actually made a oversized blouse very recently, and I actually digitized the pattern for it. It's just that nobody's ever seen it up until now. The blouse, or like the shirt, it's more like it's more a shirt. It's definitely a shirt. So the shirt that I made with that pattern, I'm gonna feature in a video hopefully soon. And I'm sort of thinking, would it be cool to have a oversized shirt pattern in my shop, but then also make that a shirt dress, if you know what I mean. So let me explain. The pattern that I made is pretty straightforward. It is a simple oversized shirt with a shirt collar, so I could work off that. And what I kind of want to do is to create this really simple oversized shirt dress that has like, how should I, a wavy like a wavy hem. Yeah, it's like a hem, a wavy hem seam. And from that you have an asymmetrical skirt piece. So you could either make something super simple, like a simple oversized shirt, or you could make this quite avant-garde shirt dress with it. That would be fun. That's something aesthetically very different from what I've been making in the past. And I kind of dig that because, you know, gotta change sometimes. Gotta change and do different things, you know, because otherwise stuff gets boring real quick. Can you see where I'm going with this? It's very, what is it? It's like Asian looking. It's a little bit like Korean, Chinese, Japanese street style. It's oversized, which, you know, can be fun for summer. It is quite inclusive. You can wear it if you're a little bit bigger, and it's going to be very comfortable, which is always great. You could make this in a cotton poplin. You could either go plain or colorful. It's kind of, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that an idea? I kind of like this idea of it being multi-functional again. So again, like having the option to do this super avant-garde funky little shirt dress, which, you know, you could wear to your holiday on the Italian Riviera, or you could wear to your office in, you know, Knightsbridge. I don't know. It's really up to you. You could style it in different ways. You could pop a belt on. You could just wear it like that. You could even, that sounds cool, like wear it open with a nice tank like this and some jeans under, you know, and just wear it like a coat in summer. That could be fun. There's options for this as well. I sort of feel if I put this up on a pose, probably going to be the least popular, maybe because the sketch is not really good. Maybe I have to rework it, but that's just for the purpose of you knowing what I'm talking about. So that's another idea. We keep going. We're not done. Okay, so I also want to do a super summery maxi dress, like something super floaty and voluminous, something that you would make in a extremely bright, colorful cotton poplin sort of thing. Maybe again, it's me hoping that I might go on some vacation. I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. I made this beautiful pink maxi dress a couple of years ago now. It's been a while. And I still love that dress, and when it's hot here in the UK, that's sort of the only thing I ever want to wear. So that is something that's on my to-do list for sure. Let me show you what I think it could look like. Actually, I think it would be very similar to the one that I made back then, which had a very simple brace up here, like a bust brace, which means that there's no fitted section around the bust, which is always great for a pattern developer, because that tends to be one of the most difficult sections of any pattern. It would then have simple tie-up straps, so super simple. But I want to make the body of the dress something a little bit more special, not just have, you know, it fall down. I want to create these asymmetrical tiers, which is exactly what that dress looked like back then that I made, which was inspired by a design that Mango had in its stores at the time. So that's kind of what that looked like. So if you think about having tiers, you could also build on the tiers. So you could even just make a shirt with that one asymmetrical piece. You could make a mini skirt with 2 asymmetrical pieces, and then you could make the full dress with the last tier attached as well. I really like that. I love that dress, and I would remake that any time of the day, honestly. That was so great. Okay, it is the next day. Yes, I am wearing the exact same outfit as yesterday. Not that it matters. I might be an outfit repeater, but you're an outfit rememberer. Never forget that. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I got impatient. At the beginning of this video, said that I was gonna do a poll after this video went live. Of course, I could not wait that long, so I went to Instagram and did a poll on my stories. So basically what I did is I mocked up those 5 designs that I sketched out yesterday. I actually re-sketched a couple of them just to make them look a little bit nicer and give them some options. And I then also put together some inspo pics just so people see where my inspiration is coming from, and kind of like, you know, seeing a real life image of a similar design gives you more of a feeling of what I'm trying to go for. So basically what I did is show the inspo, show the design, and have a poll, which the response options were love it, need it immediately, cute but not my style, or pass. And I felt like showing these 5 designs with these poll options would give me a good like temperature check on how popular they are. And this has only been live for about an hour and a half, but I got over 200 responses already. So I feel like I already got a good lay of the land. Of course, I'm gonna see how this develops over the next 24 hours. But anyway, this is the first insight. There's a few surprises here and a few things that I kind of like anticipated. The first big surprise for me was definitely the boat neck design. That one's not very popular, to be honest. 56% of you said cute but not my style, which actually I feel challenged. I feel like I want to show you how cute this is. It makes me think that I'm still gonna do it. I'm gonna show you how cute it is. Obviously we go through stages when we work on new sewing patterns, so I'm gonna do a prototype and then see what the lay of the land is, and then we see if it's worth pursuing or not. So that was the first, or the only actually, surprise of that polling. That one is not a big surprise. I actually called it out while I was sketching it yesterday. Is the shirt dress. 49% said cute but not my style. 28% said love it, need it immediately. It's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest, but 23% said pass, which is a large percentage. No other design has that big of a pass percentage. So I mean, I knew that it wasn't the most exciting design out of the 5, but we're ranking here, right? We are giving ourselves an idea of what to work on first, and that shirt dress is not the one. That one is also not a big surprise, which is the wrap dress. That one was the huge winner of the poll so far in this last hour and a half, because 89% said love it, need it immediately. I mean, I feel like I've been missing out. I should have continued working on that wrap dress. So yeah, clearly that one's the winner. I think that one's the one that we have to start working on first. Then we have the tiered maxi dress. That one, also a bit of a mixed bag. About 50% said love it, need it immediately, which is good. 34% said cute but not my style, which, you know, I think this is just a sketch, so those people could be convinced. So if I make a really nice version of this, you know, some of the people in that category probably would change their mind and be like, oh yeah, I love it and I need it immediately. And then 18% said pass, which fine, it's not for you. And then last but not least, that one was actually a bit of a surprise for me, is the cowl neck dress. That one's also a big winner so far, because 64% said love it, need it immediately. I kind of felt like, I knew it was still popular, but I felt like we were maybe over cowl neck dresses, which I'm not over them. I still love them. I think they're a great classic staple to have in your wardrobe, and apparently 64% agree, which I think I'm obviously gonna wait for 24 hours and see how those percentages develop, but so far I'm gonna say that the first design that I should continue working on is the wrap dress, followed by the cowl neck dress, and then probably the tiered dress, then the boat neck dress, and then the shirt dress. I kind of feel like that's how I want to do it. So yeah, I think that's my ranking for now. Which does that mean that those are the designs that I'm gonna go for my sewing pattern extravaganza? maybe. I don't wanna like commit myself to something right now because there's still a lot of time to go. What I can say for sure is that the wrap dress is gonna be part of the extravaganza 100% because it is so popular. I knew that beforehand, so I should definitely include that one. And the cowl neck dress, I think, is also definitely gonna be one of the designs for the extravaganza. The other three, TBC. Maybe there's something else that pops up for me where I'm like, oh, I want to do that instead. So what's the next step, you might ask? Or I ask anyway. I kind of feel like just sitting down, starting to draft, because, you know, that's what I need to do. The last time when I did the extravaganza, I actually sat down for a whole week and just straight up drafted all 5 of my designs for the extravaganza and then continued working from there. But I had a good like baseline to work with, which is probably how I want to do this now. But because I don't yet know which of the, you know, what the 5 designs are, it's not really possible. But I can definitely start with the wrap dress and with the cowl neck dress. And because the cowl neck dress is much easier than the wrap dress, I kind of feel like, why not getting that one out of the way? Right? Yeah, why not? Yeah, I could do that. I could do that this week, I think. I'm gonna start working on that now. I already printed my PDF. I obviously have to assemble it. It has 1,000,000 pages.